Welcome to the next lesson, calculating your final profit numbers and choosing your top product opportunity. And here's what we'll be covering. How to calculate the final profit numbers for each of your top product opportunities, what is considered a good profit margin, and then how to use this information when choosing your final top product opportunity. By now, you should have captured all of the product cost details for each of your top 3 product opportunities and for each of your top 3 suppliers. But how do we use this information to calculate our final profit numbers for each product and supplier? Well, it's pretty simple because we've done all the hard work. Now we're going to use the FBA revenue calculator and then capture those final profit numbers into the product opportunity spreadsheet. Now, if you've only gotten back enough information from a few suppliers, that's totally fine. You can do this right now in order to calculate your final profit numbers for those that you've gotten all the information back for, and then simply repeat this process once all of your suppliers have gotten back to you. And keep in mind, though, that you'll need to do this for each top product opportunity and for each final supplier. So at least 9 times, maybe more if you've actually reached out to even more suppliers and want to check out the true profit numbers from each one. So let's go use the FBA revenue calculator right now. Now, all of the information that we need in order to use the FBA revenue calculator is right here inside of our ASM workbook. We've been gathering and capturing that information as we get quotes back from our suppliers and as we estimate the shipping costs. So here I am on the sleeping pad tab because that's the product that we've been working with. We got a quote back from our supplier of $16.50 per unit. We know that our estimated shipping costs per unit are $3.33, and we're estimating 20 cents per unit for inspection services. We also are estimating 50 cents per unit to ship the products then by UPS to Amazon, and we know that we're going to pay Amazon 20 cents per unit to have them label our products. Those are all the pieces of data that we need. Now, the last one that we're going to get from the FBA revenue calculator is this cell, the net profit in dollars. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. You may have noticed the first 3 cells, the supplier price, the import shipping cost, and the inspection service, are all under the title of cost of product. And the other 2 cells over, the UPS cost to Amazon and the FBA label service, are under another cell called ship to Amazon. And there's a reason for that, because that's what Amazon wants us to use and combine the values of those fields when using the FBA revenue calculator. So let me show you how we'll do that. I'm going to pull up the FBA revenue calculator by clicking on the link below the net profit column. Now remember, if you need a refresher on this tool, feel free to check out the second lesson in this module, Understanding Amazon's Fees. Now we're going to search for the product that we'll be selling, and I already have that saved here. I'm going to search for it. So it pulls up that product in the tool, and as we scroll down, we'll see that there are only 3 fields that we need to enter. The first is simply the price that we plan on selling this for, and I'm going to use the price that our competition is selling for right now, $41.97. And then the other 2 fields we need to enter in. The first one is ship to Amazon, and then the second one is the cost of product. And those correlate exactly what we're just talking about. These 2 fields combined are the ship to Amazon, which will be 70 cents. We'll enter that right here, 0.70. And then these 3 fields combined are the total cost of the product, which is $20.03. And we'll enter that over here. Now all we need to do is click calculate, and it then calculates our net profit in dollars, which is $10.19, and our net profit margin in percentages, which is 24.28%. So I'm going to enter the 1019 over in our workbook. Right there, 10.19. And then our spreadsheet also calculates the net margin percentage, which matches what we saw there, 24.28%. So this is the profit margin for this product and for this supplier. And remember, you'll need to do this for each product and for each of your 3 suppliers. So now that we've seen the profit margin for one of our products and one of our suppliers, it's natural to ask the next question, what is a good profit margin? The one we just looked at has about a 24-25%, but what we don't know is that good or not? Well, most large manufacturing companies are perfectly fine with a 10 to 15% profit margin. But when it comes to private label, we want to strive for something a little bit higher. So generally, 25 to 30% is a good starting profit margin. You can go a little bit lower if you need to, but that's just kind of a ballpark figure. And really good is 50% or higher. And we have lots of members who sell products at much higher profit margins. And of course, it's okay to start with a lower profit margin if you're confident that you can increase those profits over time. And I'm going to show you a really great example on how to do that. Now, you'll want to keep the following in mind. Count on spending around 10% on advertising. So the number I gave you above, the 25 to 30%, doesn't include the 10% on advertising, so you'll need to take that away from there as well. And then for product launches, you expect to sell around 20 to 100 products at a really steep discount where you might just break even or even lose a little bit of money. Now, those are usually one-time costs, these product launches, so it's not something you need to incorporate into your profit margin all the time, but just starting off, you will need to keep that in mind for your first batch of inventory. Now, let me show you a quick example of how you can tell if you can increase your profits over time. Earlier, when calculating our estimated shipping and importing costs for 300 units of this product, we got estimates back of $752 for the shipping, plus we had to add in another $247 or so for the duties, and that brought us to a total of $999.50 for our importing costs, which made our cost per unit be $3.33. However, one of the easiest ways to decrease your overall cost of your product and increase products later on is to simply be able to order more products. And let me show you exactly how this happens. I'm going back to the Freightos tool and I'm going to do a new search. And the only thing that I'm going to change is the quantity. So instead of ordering 300 units, which would be 15 cartons, I am going to order 1,000 units, which will be 50 cartons. So everything else will be exactly the same. Our numbers were in kilograms and centimeters. It was 35 by 30 by 30 and 7.5 kilograms. I'm going to the next step. We're going to pick everything up from the port. So it's FOB. It's going to be the Ningbo port, shipping these by ocean. I'm going to pick about a month out. So we'll go to June the 8th. Then I'm going to have these delivered to my freight forwarder's warehouse. They are in Chicago. Just select that. Go down to the next steps. And I'm going through these rather quickly because we've already done this before. This is just to show you how you can save money. We will need customs brokerage. I'm still going to go ahead and purchase a bond. Now, since we're ordering 1,000 units instead of 300, the total cost for this inventory order will be $16,500. And so the cost just goes up about $32.50 there for the bond. I'll select that. Everything else, again, stays the same, and we'll click on Search and Book. And this is where you can really see the power of growing your brand and your business. Before, the estimate for the shipping portion of ordering 300 units was $752. To more than triple that to 1,000 units, we're only paying $843. So now we do have to pay more in our duties and taxes, but as you can see here, by ordering more and more inventory, the shipping costs do not go up proportionately. And let's figure out exactly what this would mean as far as our total cost of product. I'm back in our ASM workbook and I've updated the quantity here to be 1,000. I've also updated the total import shipping estimate. This includes the $850 or so for shipping plus the 5% duties and taxes. And so for 1,000 units, the total cost of shipping is $1,668. And when you divide that by the 1,000 units, this means that the import shipping cost per unit is now only $1.67 instead of $3.33 last time. And when you add all these up and you put them into our FBA revenue calculator, that increased our net profit by well over $1 each unit, up to $11.85, and our net profit margin went up to 28.23%. That is an easy way to get between 4 and 5% additional profit on your product simply when you grow and can order more quantities. And there are actually multiple ways to increase your profit margin over time. One is if you simply start off with a lower selling price, you can likely raise that price once your product is established and selling well. Many of our students choose this option. They start off with a lower price in order to get some traction, and then once they've got enough reviews and sales velocity, then they'll slowly raise that price over time until they've optimized their profits. Another way is that you should be able to reduce your product costs by simply ordering more products. In the example I just showed you with the shipping, we didn't even take into account getting a lower price for our supplier. That would have increased our profit margin even more. And of course, as I just showed you, you should definitely be able to reduce your shipping costs by ordering and shipping more products at the same time. Now, once you've gathered your estimated profit numbers for all 3 products from all 3 suppliers, you'll need to narrow down the field and choose your top product opportunity. Now, there is no one single formula for doing this. There are several factors that you need to keep in mind when doing this, and I'm going to lay them out for you here. Now, you cannot rely upon one of these. You need to think through all of these when choosing your top product opportunity. Which one of your products has the best chance to make the most profit each month? Now, there may be some products that are more seasonal and they sell a ton of products over the holidays or during the springtime or the summertime, and that might be great. Or you may have a product that's more even-keeled and sells steadily all year long. So you need to look at that and figure out which one of those will make you the most profit each month that you feel the most comfortable with. Also, is there one or more that simply won't make you enough profit at all? So even though you may like a product a lot, if it's only pulling in a 10 or 15% profit margin, that can really make it not very appealing to you. Is there one of the products that sticks out to you that you really like? So on the other end of that, if you have 2 products that are very similar with profit margins, I would lean towards one that I really like because it's going to be much easier to sell and market a product that you're interested in. And lastly, is there a product that has way less competition than someone else? So again, if you have a product that may not make quite as much of a profit margin, but it's going to be a lot easier launching and ranking and marketing that product, that would definitely weigh in its favor of choosing that as your top product opportunity. So now it's time. Once you've captured all your profit margins, I want you to do this. I want you to choose your top product opportunity by taking into account those different factors that we just talked about above. And once you've done that, I'll see you in the next video.